Good morning and welcome back to my channel. Don't mind me. My name's Diana and today I am going to be putting up a trigger warning because I will be talking about different cancers. The two main ones will be pancreatic and testicular. But I do have other statistics for other cancers as well in front of me. The reason I want to talk about cancer is because it is very much in the news at the moment, and a lot of famous people, as well as everyday people, are going through cancer. They either know someone who has it, someone who's passed away from it, or they're going through it themselves, or they've been through it themselves. The reason I've chosen pancreatic is because that's the cancer my father had. And I will be telling that story. But as I say, the trigger warnings, I will be talking about death, I will be talking about cancers and the statistics of certain cancers. So if you don't want to watch this video, then you're more than welcome to switch out of it. I will be leaving a couple of links in my description box down below to one will be to a video to do with testicular cancer from a very, very amazing young man. He's 26, he's American, he's got a YouTube channel with his best friend. And it's basically his story of how he got through it and the fact that he's now cancer free. But I will let you watch it. There is also going to be a link down below to the charity that he wants to support. And I just hope by watching this video we can get the message out there that most cancers are easy to deal with and get rid of as long as it's being caught early. Unfortunately, with pancreatic cancer, that is a situation where, because the pancreas is deep inside the body, it's very, very hard to diagnose because the tumours are deep inside, and so even when you go for medical, they're not always picked up until it's too late, until the cancer's got too large and it's spread to other organs. And unfortunately, that's the case with my father. And my story starts when I was little. I always wanted to be a nurse. So in 1986, I took the leap and went to start my nurse training. And that started on the 6th of March, 1986. Everything went fine, and we were due to have a 3-week break in August. And when the time came, my dad picked me up and he broke the news that he'd lost some weight and that he had pain in his tummy, but he just thought it was a hiatus hernia. So he wouldn't go to the doctors, no matter how much we'd say go, just in case. No, I'm fine. Eventually it got too much and he did go to the doctors. He ended up in hospital at the beginning of December 86 and was diagnosed a couple of days later with pancreatic cancer. We had an all right Christmas, as much as it can be. He was home. He was doing as much as he could. We were keeping life as normal as possible. He'd walk to the shops, he'd walk to the library. And this particular evening, when he went to return some books to the library, I walked into the kitchen. I was at home with my mum, and I walked into the kitchen because at this point I'd actually left nursing due to my dad being ill, and to help my mum, even though he hadn't been diagnosed at this point. I actually left in October or November of 1986. Anyway, as I say, I was at home with my mum. Dad had gone to the library, and I went into the kitchen and I could hear drips. I looked up at the ceiling, and all along the ceiling was water. Not flooding the kitchen, but just dripping. So I mentioned it to my dad and said, look, I'll go up there. You stay. He said, no. Dad was very stubborn. And we both went up there. We both found that we had a pipe that had burst. So we spent the next hour or so trying to mop it up, trying to sort it. Luckily enough, my dad knew someone who was a plumber, so they came out and sorted it out for us. But the next day, my dad spent the day in bed because he was in pain. And so his doctor thought the best policy would be for him to go to our local hospice and get his medication sorted out. So that's what he did. But I knew he wouldn't come out. So he went in. I followed with my mum. I found it very difficult. I was told by his doctor that it would only be 10 days that he'd be in there, and that it was because of his medication being changed and sorted out. But as I say, I knew. Anyway, from the time we left to the time my mum went to see him the next day, he'd had a stroke. And my dad was a very proud man, and he would have been heartbroken to know that that the nurses were having to do everything for him because he was semi-conscious. He couldn't do anything. It broke both my mum and I. She came home from the hospice crying. And my mum, bless her, she was amazing. Every day she'd go and see him. I had the opportunity. She'd ask me every day if I wanted to go, but I wanted to remember him as he was. On the Tuesday, which would have been the 11th of February, I went to see, or I was asked if I wanted to go and see him. At first I said no, and then Mum asked again. I said, yes, I will. I found it very difficult, but I did it. And I got to the point where I'd look at my mum and she'd know that it was time to go. So we left, and that was basically the last time I saw him. And my mum went the next day, only to walk in the door to be met by a member of staff who had just gone to see him and found that he'd passed away just a few minutes before Mum had got there. So that was very difficult for my mum because she had gone on her own. And as I say, I did all my crying basically when he was ill. And I have the statistics here um for like for the cancers, and the only dates that I could find were the 2016 to 2018 dates, and this is all the statistic dates are from. So for new cases for pancreatic cancer back in 2016 to 2018, they are 10,452. The deaths of pancreatic cancer for the same years are 9,558. The survival rate is 5%, and the preventing is 37%. And I will talk a little bit about what pancreatic cancer is. It's a cancer that, of course, is found in the pancreas. And the pancreas is an organ that's at the top part of your tummy. It helps to digest your food and makes hormones such as insulin. How serious pancreatic cancer is depends on where it is in the pancreas, how big it is, and if it has spread to other organs. And I found that with my dad, it had spread to his liver, but then they're not sure if that was the actual starting point. They couldn't tell because it was so vastly spread. Okay. The main symptoms of pancreatic cancer are pancreatic cancer may not have any symptoms, or they may be hard to spot due to where the pancreas is. Bear with me just for a second. The whites of your eyes or your skin turn yellow, which is jaundice, and you may also have itchy skin, darker wee, and paler poo than usual. You have a loss of appetite or losing weight without trying to, feeling tired or having no energy, a high temperature or feeling hot or shivery. Other symptoms can affect your digestion, such as feeling or being sick, diarrhea or constipation, or other changes in your poo. Pain in the top part of your tummy and your back, which may feel worse when you're eating or lying down and better when you lean forward. Symptoms of indigestion, such as feeling bloated. If you have another condition like irritable bowel syndrome, you may get symptoms like these regularly. You might find you get used to them, but it is important to be checked by a GP if your symptoms change or get worse or do not feel normal to you. And that is what I will say about every cancer. If you feel anything unusual, like if you're a woman and you feel your breasts and you feel something that's not quite right, go to your GP. With testicular cancer, you may be embarrassed, but you're with a professional. Please go and get checked out. Going early saves lives. And that is what this video is about. And I want to spread the word that getting an early diagnosis is to the point of early diagnosis leads to early surgery, and early surgery leads to treatment such as chemo, radiotherapy, and I we'll be talking about another cancer, which is testicular, as I said, and I will be putting a video link in there, as well as another link to a cancer charity, which is a non-profitable cancer charity. This subject is extremely close to my heart. I've got very close friends who have lost a loved one. I have a niece who had cancer at the young age of 13. Luckily, she's okay. She still has checks, but she's okay. She's now nearly 26. I feel cancer is an important subject, and I know a lot of people will probably think that it's fun. It's not. Until you've been in the situation I've been in, or you have suffered with it yourself, then you don't know how tough it is. And I will be, as I say, I have statistics here for testicular cancer. New cases, again, this is 2016 to 2018 because this is the only years I could find. 2,354 new cases, 65 deaths, 91% of survival rate, and the prevention, there's no clearly linked prevention or preventable risk factors. But the video I will be putting up, this amazing young YouTuber from America who has a YouTube channel with his best friend, felt pain and decided to go to the doctors. And luckily, they knew what it was and they've dealt with it. He's now cancer-free, but I will put the link into it in my description about his side of his cancer story and the cancer charity he's helping. The next statistic is for breast cancer. And again, in 2016 to 2018, there were 55,920 new cases. There were 11,499 deaths. The survival rate was 76% and 23% prevention. Bowel cancer, again, 2016 to 2018, new cases 42,886. Deaths are 6,808. Survival is 53% and prevention is 54%. And the last one is bone cancer, which is 554 new cases, 376 deaths, and the survival rate is 55%. And the reason I'm mentioning bone sarcoma is because I have a very dear friend who was also a very good friend of my late brother's, and I found out a couple of years ago that she has cancer of the bone, and she had treatment or started to have treatment, and then they found the prognosis not very good. So it's basically just a matter of time. This isn't easy, but I want to make people aware that if you, as I've said, if you feel anything strange, anything not right, please go to your doctor, get checked. The sooner you go, the sooner you can move forward and get the surgery or get the treatment you need to get rid of it. It has to be, this subject has to be brought out into the open. It has to be talked about. People need to be aware that cancer is not a joke. Cancer is life-threatening if you don't catch it in time. And it can be a death sentence. You need to catch it quick. So please, any strange feelings, any lumps, any pain that you not expected, go to your GP. And if they won't listen, go further. You need to get checked. And I will keep repeating this till I'm blue in the face. This is my way of helping to spread the word. And if you feel like donating to any charities, Cancer Research, Cancer UK, or even the charity that I will link in my description. I will also link the Cancer Research and Cancer UK in my description. So please, if you feel like donating, please do so. And the charity or the non-profitable charity that I will link, that this young YouTuber is raising money for, is actually called Fuck Cancer Events. So I will also be linking that into my description. So thanks for watching. Sorry it's a very what's the word? Not a very happy video this week. I will do a better one next week, but I do think this is an important subject to talk about, and we need to get talking. We need to raise money. We need to get this research so that we can eradicate cancer, especially ones that are so difficult to treat, like pancreatic cancer, brain tumours. And if there is any cancer that you wish me to talk about in a future video, then please leave a note in the comments. Thank you for watching. I love you all so much. You're all amazing. And be strong, stay safe, and please get checked. Bye.